Getting old sucks.
What? I mean, there's some thought to that. At least you're getting old, right? Like it's just like a day above the ground is a good day.
It's a double-edged sword,
Right.
I think.
Right.
Because there's some things about like getting old and like experiencing new chapters of life
Right.
that I think is fun and exciting and inspiring.
Like prune juice.
Yes. What? I'm not quite there yet. I know you don't disclose your age on the podcast,
But
which
I
I
just
don't
did.
know why. I don't know why. Like, I understand, like, you're like, oh, I don't give last names, which I think is funny because the reason why I think it's really funny that you won't disclose your last name on this podcast is because, like, you do it for, like, privacy and security reasons, right?
Yeah.
We are, I would say, on the lower end of a medium-sized podcast.
Yeah, of course.
Right? Looking at our statistics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's, I would say, tens, if not 100,000 podcasts out there that are much smaller than we are, have much smaller reach, don't have near as many episodes, whatever.
Yeah.
But we're on the smaller end of medium, right? I would say between where we are now or I would say between, starting out a podcast, first episode drops and you have 0 listeners to, hey, this is our full time.
Right.
We are, whatever.
Yeah.
I would say we're about 40% of the way there, maybe 35% of the way there.
Yeah.
But and so here's the paradox that you've created.
Okay.
We are large enough that it's a gratifying show for us.
Yes. Yeah.
We're small enough that, yes, although people listen to us in over 160 countries and, XYZ, I just pulled that number out of my ass. It's definitely over 115
Oh yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
We're not huge enough that anybody,
Right.
nobody cares who you are type of thing, right? Like nobody's coming to your house to murder your family. Like we're that small. However, what's brilliant about all of this is that when we reach the size where you would genuinely want that security,
Right.
there will be absolutely no keeping your identity a secret. Not like, and I'm not saying like at that point you'll have to tell. It will just be out there.
Right.
Right. People will figure it out.
Right.
So to me that's just funny, right? Especially now in the world of AI and like Google Lens.
Yeah.
Literally right now. And this is not me like revealing some hacker secret to the, so I'm going to say this because it's not like, oh God, don't tell them that because they never would have been able to figure that out, blah, blah, blah. This is just like, this is common Google search functions.
Right.
I could take a picture off our Facebook page,
Right.
drop that image into like the Google Images search, like search with an image thing. And one of the first things that comes up is going to be your LinkedIn profile. It's going to be it's going to go, oh, that's Pete, blah, blah, blah.
Hernandez.
Yeah. So it's just funny to me. But I don't know.
I'm asked my age. You're feeling old.
I'm feeling old.
Okay.
So yes, it's exciting to age. But there is that part that's like, I don't know, I'm finding myself I go through periods of this where it bothers me and it doesn't bother me.
Sure.
I'm currently in a rather anxious period about that dripping egg timer that is life, right? And that it's like, not only with every minute that passes, you are closer to not being able to do things that you used to be able to do. Or used to want to do or have time to do or, whatever. But also you are that much closer to never doing anything ever again. What a downer start to this podcast.
Start the show.
Yeah. Wow. Pete's false sense of privacy and my impending doom.
What a wicked way to start.
Hello and welcome.
Welcome to the Movie Man Podcast.
What a wicked way to start this podcast.
I am Peter, and my existential crisis co-host is Brady.
Yeah.
And we're here to review the 2024 film Wicked.
This is a hot topic.
It is a hot topic, both that
internally.
Yes. We did a vote for 2024 films that were noteworthy that we didn't cover. One of them being Wicked, and the Wicked won. It was a hot button topic. You love it, to say the least.
I might amend that
Sure.
statement, but
you were hot to trot for it.
I do think I went into it curious but not expecting greatness.
Right.
And I came out of watching it, both Brianna and I, we watched it together, and we were like, holy shit, what a great movie. Like, that was so much fun, and the singing exceeded our expectations, and the story and some of the acting and just the vibrance and fun of the world. That I would say is more. I'm not like, if it turns out today that you think the film's a steaming pile of dung, I'm not gonna. There's no hills I'm going to die on today. I'm not. This is not a.
It's not the day for it.
This is not a Titanic situation. It's just I think it is probably, and this is a statement I'm making really quickly without having looked at a list and put a ton of thought into it. But off the top, like, sort of my gut reaction thing to say right now would be that it's easily the best musical of the last 5, possibly 10 years.
Yeah, I mean,
not the best musical of all time.
No. Would you say that's your initial impression? Should we?
Yeah,
I think we can cap off is highly heated in our group, because you and Emily Mader were definitely in the raw camp. I waved the pom-pom of I think this movie is a horse's ass. Without having seen it. Also dating back when I personally went to go see a film with my wife.
Oh, right.
And it was either this, that is
and
Wicked,
I razzed you,
or Rohirrim. Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim.
Which was mid to good.
It wasn't great. I gave it a 7. I enjoyed it way more than you did. But even at the time, my wife was on the fence about, like, hey, which should we see?
She liked it more than she thought she would.
She liked it more than she thought she'd liked it. But she wanted to see, like, Wicked was on the fence too. Should we see Wicked? Should we see War?
That was sort of her preference for the night.
Yeah.
But she wasn't dead set
Listen,
against.
afternoon. I'm going to show my age again for the afternoon.
Yeah. Because you had to be home in time to...
Put your teeth in.
At 8 o'clock, that alarm goes off, and if you don't take your pills, then
you're boned. You're boned.
Pressure.
This is there was a bit riding on this episode.
So I let's just a little bit, because I went back and forth on, like, how much do we pull the curtain back.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's been a while since we've pulled the curtain back on the show.
Sure.
And I know that the listener likes when we do that. We always get, like, fun feedback about, like, oh, you guys should,
pull it back.
Yeah.
Pull the shower curtain back.
Stop acting like
Don't spray the water, though.
You guys are on the lower end of mid podcast. Don't act like you're, don't act like you're big shit here. Like, just, so Pete and I, this will be the most abridged version of this that I've ever told, because we've told this story many, many, many times. Pete and I, the fun thing about this podcast and this business of the Movie Men podcast is that Pete and I, when we started this podcast, were, I would say, strongly acquainted, right? You would come to my wedding.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like,
we didn't know each other.
But we didn't hang out at all. We weren't
like at your wedding, I like shook your hand. I'm like,
nice to meet you.
Nice day. Good job.
Congrats.
Okay, bye.
Brady, was it? Right. But we weren't like getting together for beers.
No.
We weren't like
or Coke Zeros.
Close buds, right? And so the way the podcast sort of started was I wanted to do a podcast. I put a thing out on Facebook. Hey, who would be interested in a podcast? And you sort of commented and said, I'm listening. And I was like, huh. And you were kind of the only person who showed any interest. And so it wasn't like, I'm not saying you got chosen by default, but also kind of. It was like, because I knew Carl much better than you.
Right.
Like,
if Carl had popped out.
If Carl had said yes.
Or Aaron.
Yeah. That would have been it. You
knew them. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been it. So anyways, what's really interesting is our friendship has evolved through and because of the podcast. And so what's interesting about that is Pete and I have had to, like, if you pull the curtain back and you really think about what that means is we were acquaintances who became coworkers.
Right.
And so there was a good chunk of time, I would say, at the beginning of this podcast, where we weren't necessarily friends that had a podcast together. We were friendly coworkers, like people who had gone into business together, who got along.
Right.
And I mean, the success of the podcast and the longevity of the podcast depended on us getting along. Obviously, there needed to be chemistry, but there was a lot of growing pains.
Oh, yeah.
Because I have a very sort of sarcastic, jovially poke fun at sense of humor. I think there's nothing funnier than in a conversation, much like what we often have on this podcast, calling there's a reason why the only programmed sound on our sound pad so far is
personally, I think you're a fucking idiot.
Because to me that's hilarious. It's hilarious to, within the context of a fun, understanding, jovial conversation, to put someone down or poke fun at them or whatever, and then they throw it back at you, and you have a little razzing session. There throughout this process, throughout these 5 years, there has been many times where Pete and I have had to sit down and mend some wounds and then kiss and make up. Because, and often I will say, not all of them, but the majority of them have been situations where Pete has felt like I've taken something too far.
Right.
And in some cases, I can agree. In some cases, we've gone back and the consensus has been, yes, you're right, I did. I'm sorry.
Yep.
In I would say more often than not, it ends up being that the situation, that the sarcasticness in what I said just wasn't clear enough, and it was taken by you as an actual attack. And so then we talk it out, we clear it up, it's, blah, blah, blah. And those used to happen. It's not like this is like every other week.
No.
But a small handful of times that's happened over the course of 5 years. But it had been a real long time since that had happened. Jump forward to, the last couple of months. Pete has, and on the podcast, has made very clear that he, like, just based on the trailers and the poster and what he thought that Wicked looked like an overhyped,
not cuckoo for Cocoa
that it
Puffs
was
for
just
this
an
movie.
overhyped whatever. It was not for him. It's and then it did well. It didn't like blow anything out of the water at the Oscars,
right?
But it did well at the Oscars for what it is. And so then we were talking about that, and he's like, I don't know.
Maybe on Patreon I should share the picture that I shared with you that got this all instigated.
Yeah.
Because I sent, flash forward to the night of the Oscars.
Yeah.
We were all, I think you, Carl, and I, this is before we had the Discord. Shout out for the Patreon. Join our Discord. We were like,
join our Patreon, and then we'll let you join the Discord.
Yeah. And I said a picture on the group chat of like, my thoughts of Wicked compared to all the other Oscar movies.
Yeah.
And it was just like, whoa, not the room to share
Which
that
was
with.
not something you had made. You had found that, right?
Yeah. No, I didn't make it.
Which means you weren't the only one feeling like that was
Right.
that was material that was readily out there.
It exists.
And so anyway, then Pete made a comment about like he jokingly he was like he said something to the effect of Wicked is his Lost in Translation, right?
Oh,
like it's
yeah.
his, the thing that is just garbage, and which I don't think there's an ounce of him that actually, like, that was a joke, right? He was like, well, I haven't seen this. I haven't,
Right.
It was like the way that I jokingly despise Lost in Translation. He's like, well, I
we'll
don't
have to,
despise
as an aside,
Wicked.
and we should wrap this up. We should get
Yes.
goods going soon. But as an aside, we do still have to have your mom on the show, who openly called us out and said, I want to review Lost in Translation.
We need to do that. But so anyways, it that turned into a little bit of a what felt like a fun online razzing
Yeah.
of Pete for because my stance was
Right.
my stance, which
Right.
everything I said was a joke except for one thing,
Sure.
which was the opinion that you can cast of a film that you have not seen
Right.
is greatly limited, or the weight that your opinion carries of a film you have not seen is greatly limited compared to your opinion of a film you have seen. Right? There's a reason we don't allow critics to rate a film that they didn't
Haven't
go
seen.
watch. Right. So, anyways, it turned into like it was the first
heated.
in a long time. It got heated afterwards. Like the actual
Right.
conversation itself wasn't heated. It
Yeah.
was all in fun, but Pete didn't take it all as all in fun.
Right.
And I didn't realize that until after the fact when Pete's like, "Yo, dude, like I'm breaking up with you." No, he didn't do that, but we did have to hash it out. So all that to say, I was so when the list came through of the 4 vote options, and I saw that you had put Wicked on that list.
Because, I mean, it's relevant.
My ass puckered or shriveled, like clenched. I was like, oh God, do we? Because it freaked me out because I was like, I don't know that this is a can of worms that we want to open, but also I think this has got a pretty good chance of winning this vote just because of the sort of zeitgeist around this film right now.
Yeah.
And it won.
It won.
So here we are.
Here we are.
And so what's on the line is whether or not you're... Basically, today we're here to answer the question, can you judge a book by its cover? Right? Is sort of, is your experience with Wicked what you perceived it would be
Right.
based on what you had seen prior to sitting down and consuming it.
Right.
But yeah, so I will say my initial impression can just be, I think it's probably, again, maybe if I was looking at a list of all the musicals that have come out in the last 10 years, I would have to redact
Yep.
or rescind that initial impression. But with a big asterisk, I will say it's probably the best musical of at least the last 5 years. I'd be open to say it could even be the last 10.
And that's interesting because I'm just trying to reiterate what you're saying. So, like, last 5 years, only things that are popping to my mind are, like, say, Spirited.
Yeah.
I honestly am drawing a blank with COVID.
Yeah.
Were there many musicals?
I
Because
mean,
I think I'm with like last 5 years.
Not a ton.
There's not a ton.
So I mean, it's not that. So that's not even a huge accolade.
Yeah, no.
If
Last
you go
10
to
years,
10, like,
that's-
is La La Land in
Yeah,
the last
that's
10 years?
2016.
Okay.
That's La
Yeah,
La
I would
Land.
stand by that.
Yeah.
Tick Tick
I
Boom.
disagree.
Tick Tick Boom
I haven't
is,
seen Tick
is
Tick
in
Boom.
there.
Haven't seen that.
There's a number of them.
10 years opens it up a bit more. I disagree, but
Yeah.
that
And
opens
that's-
it up. Yeah. I'd say, you know what, here. There's 2 different things. I'm not sure which question I'm here to answer today. There's the, if you watch a trailer and you say that's not for me, or can you watch a trailer and judge if something's good or not? And I think with the second one, you can't really do. Like,
Right.
like you're saying, with a critic, you can't judge a film without seeing it. I'd say this film is decent, but it's overrated. I can't quite put my finger on it because there was a lot of times my wife and I looked at each other and we both agreed it's technically spectacular, choreography,
Visually
yeah,
visually stunning.
color palette, But there was a lot of times we just looked at each other and it just didn't have it.
Oh, it was missing the
it was just missing
zest.
it. And just to wrap up my initial impression, I think the thing that this movie did well was it touches a lot of deep, intense themes.
Yes.
Things that are relevant now and 100
Stuff I
years
didn't
ago.
expect it to.
Not that,
Because I'm not familiar with just for clarification, I don't know. I know it's a big Broadway thing. I missed the whole hype train
Me too.
I went into this not knowing the story.
And, I'll give it kudos for touching on things that are super charged and super socially relevant.
Ostracization and
prejudice, all that kind of social stuff. The thing I will give it bad marks for is at times beating us over the head with it and not necessarily trusting our intelligence.
Okay, cool.
So kind of a mixed bag.
And for the record, there are some things, like I have some demerits.
Yeah.
Right? There are, like, don't get me wrong. I'm not coming into this with rose-colored glasses going, this thing's amazing. There's nothing wrong with it. There are some things that I was like, oh, this is, like, what the hell just happened?
Right.
Right. Don't get me wrong.
So in your words, it wasn't an Ariana Grande. It was more like an Ariana Vente.
Wow.
Right? No?
I don't know Starbucks enough to know. All I know is every time I go in,
I think Vente is small.
It's stupid, which is dumb, right? Because isn't Vente means large?
I forget.
Or like
Grande is medium.
Yeah, and
tall is large, I think.
That's so dumb.
Yeah, it's
the stupidest. And I've never done that. I just go in and because they will, they don't get snobby about, like, if you're like, hey, I want a medium.
Yeah, no, they'll take your money.
Yeah, they'll
be
get
like,
it.
yeah, whatever.
They get it.
They want their tips.
Yeah, they're like, we know this is dumb.
So let's start this conversation off.
Yeah.
I'll give it a positive. Unless you really do you want to categorize it good and bad, or do you want to just jump all around? How would you like to go?
I'm fine either way.
We can just do a bounce so it's not all negative, not all positive. I'll start with a positive.
Okay.
Something I wasn't expecting. I was expecting my eyes to roll all the way back and have them surgically repurposed to look forward again.
Okay.
When I found out that this was part 1 of 2.
Right.
Because I was going, here's Mockingjay part 1 and 2 all over again. Here's
this
a bunch of filler.
This is going to be just set up and not feel like its own self-contained film.
What I'll say is I do think it's far too long. I do think there's a lot of fat they could have trimmed off. There's a lot of time where the pacing could be better. But what I'll say is a positive, that although this movie on its own, like, they're stretching it out. No two ways about it. Like, the actual play compared to the length of this movie, they're stretching it out.
This is 2:40. And that's let's assume the next one is at least 2:40.
You're probably
it's not a 5+ hour Broadway musical.
Correct. So, like, they're stretching it out.
Yeah.
But what I'll say is, if you could literally remove the part 1 from this movie today, and they could cancel the second movie coming out in 9 months from now.
Yeah.
And this movie stands itself on its own. Like, this could have been a one and done movie.
Yeah.
And it's on its own. It doesn't need anything for validation in part 2. Like, it's a self-contained story.
And because you'd walk away going,
wow.
I see. The movie ends and you go, I can see how the events of this film set her on the path to become what we know from The Wizard of Oz. Yeah, 100%.
It doesn't. I will commend it for this. It does. Yeah, it doesn't rely on anything to just set itself up for a second sequel. It's not just filler. It's not just. I mean, it is there to make money and in a way, what have you,
movie business.
But it's a standalone movie, and I'll give that credit. Like,
awesome.
Yeah.
I'll bounce back with a negative.
Great. We should just have it. I say all positive things, and you have to say all negative things.
That actually would be. I've thought about us. I was thinking on the podcast at some point we should do. We should have like an episode with all three of us.
Okay.
And it'll be a debate.
Okay.
But it should be a, like, because often in debates, like, there are actual, like, passionate debates, right, where one person from the intelligent science guy is there to talk to the flat earther, and they're actually going to hash it out.
Right.
But then, like, debating as a sport,
right,
right? And debate teams and whatever. Often in those situations, you are like, here is, even though you both agree, even though you're both on this side of the argument in your own personal beliefs,
Right.
in this debate, it is your job to argue the opposite, right? And so I think that would be fun if you both had like, you know, a film that you think is trash that you have to convince
Defend, or
Carl
vice
of,
versa,
and vice versa. Anyways, and again, the big asterisk of everything moving forward, I don't know anything about the Broadway musical, so I don't know if this is a change specifically for the film, if this is consistent with the Broadway musical. I would assume from a logistic standpoint for a Broadway musical, the same is probably true in the Broadway musical. But it feels like to me, and I don't know if this is the case, it feels like a real sort of political correctness, or I don't want to use it, not woke, but like sort of the reimagining of the Munchkins as full-sized, you know, all of the Munchkins are 5'6" and taller, and just look like people. Like Munchkins in this film, and again, I'm guessing probably the Broadway musical, because I don't know how you depending on how many Munchkins you need for the Broadway musical, all of a sudden you have to cast that many little people on Broadway. Like I don't know that that's happening. A little more viable for a film, because it's like, hey, we're making a film versus, hey, we're doing a 8-year run of a musical 5 nights a week, right?
Yep.
But to me, it just, I don't know, it sort of turned being a Munchkin into, you know, as opposed, like before, the Munchkins were their own species. They were their own race of people. Whereas in this, it felt like Munchkin was more like a nationality, right? Like, oh, these are the people of Munchkinland, and therefore they are Munchkins.
Right. But they're not
actually
different
than, you know, they're not the, like the Lollipop Guild and the you know, the what, like these children-esque people who, but that are very adult, right? Almost like, I mean, there's something, obviously it's a much more colorful, much more Candyland version of it in The Wizard of Oz. But the Munchkins were always sort of like the Hobbits. Right? It a very similar kind of thing. So it just, to me, it was I don't know. I just, to me, I was like, well, the hell? Like, those aren't and I'm glad Munchkins aren't a big part of this film.
Right.
They sort of appear at the beginning, and then you can kind of move past it. But it irked me that you reimagined, or that they've reimagined the Munchkins. And it was just like,
yeah. That's interesting. It's something I actually never considered. So I'm not sure if that's just because I'm not a purist to like the original Wizard of Oz and I just overlooked that. I'm not sure if just culturally I kind of overlooked that.
Right.
All full disclosure. It wasn't a huge deal breaker for me. In fact, I kind of like it. Like, it's in a reimagined world. It's different.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just, to me, it's like sitting down and watching Wicked. I don't necessarily need to, and this sort of will segue into another point that a positive that I do have for this film. I don't sit down and watch this film and think to myself, okay, I need to feel like I can connect this to the OG Wizard of Oz.
Yep.
Right? The one from the 30s.
39, yeah.
Right? The Judy Garland Wizard of Oz.
Yep.
But I do need to, or want to, be able to go, but I can connect this to the world of the Wizard of Oz, right? To yeah. Because even in Oz the Great and Powerful, the
Right.
James Frank, right? The Munchkins look like Munchkins.
Okay.
Right? And
Yeah.
so to me, yeah, I don't know. It just like, to me, it would be like if they remade Lord of the Rings
Yeah.
and decided, well, it's sort of we don't want Peter Dinklage to get upset with us. And so everyone in this, the hobbits and the dwarves and, even the Ents, they're all going to be 5'8". Right. And it was just, to me, it was jarring. I also haven't read the book, The Wizard of Oz.
No.
Right? And that's a big question mark there too.
Sure.
Are they described in the book as being short child, like
That's true.
with the appearance of a child?
Yeah.
Because if they are, right, like the book would be sort of the official authority on,
Yeah.
how were these meant to be imagined?
Yeah.
Anyways, that was
Jumping back to the Oscars.
uh-huh.
I think I'm just going to say I think I'm pretty content with how they
How
fared.
it fared? Yeah.
I mean, so you look at, I think it had a ton of nominations, which I would agree with. Like nominated for Best Visual Effects, checks out. Best Sound, sure. Best Original Score, I didn't dislike the score, but it doesn't stand out to me. It won Best Production Design, which I would agree with.
Yep.
Something that stood out to me was just, yes, there's CGI involved in this movie, absolutely, but it had that feeling of like there's actual practical sets that is at the base of these actors kind of waltzing and doing things around, right? It didn't have that Star Wars prequel feeling where like there's all blue screens. Like there's some,
It felt like a tangible world.
yeah. Best makeup and hair design. It didn't win, but like that is a solid nomination to me.
Yeah.
Maybe arguable that they should have won.
Alphaba, like
Oh, yeah.
that it can't be easy to do. Yeah.
No.
I know all we're talking about is green makeup,
Well, but still.
but it didn't look like it
No,
sold me
it
that
looked-
was green skin.
Yeah. Film editing didn't win, but it was nominated. Best costume design, it won, and I completely agree with that. Costumes were fantastic. Supporting actress, Ariana Grande. There's something about Ariana Grande in this. I wasn't blown away with her performance. So that's one that I'm...
Ariana Grande's?
Yeah, I'm content that she didn't win. Cynthia Erivo, who plays Hechuba? No. What's her name?
Alphaba?
Alphaba. She was nominated for Best Actress. I get that. I thought her performance was was great.
Yeah.
And then it was nominated for Best Picture. It didn't win. I think that's a bit of a stretch. I'm content that it didn't win. I'm not even convinced it should have been in for Best Picture. That's just for me.
Yeah, I mean, what's interesting is so Anora did win, and
Yeah.
I watched
okay.
shortly after.
Yep.
Shortly after the Oscars, I watched Anora,
Sure.
and it's just it's a very unique fit. Yeah. I don't know. It was I don't know. I mean, we're not here to review Anora,
Sure.
but
I
don't know that
it was the best picture.
it was like a Best Picture winner. Like this was the best film of the year.
This is the best film.
It was a good watch.
Sure.
We didn't regret watching it.
Sure.
But it was just I don't know. I don't know that this is as big an accomplishment
As Best Picture.
as Wicked
in
was.
2024.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyways.
All that being said, it got a lot of Oscar attention. Some of them I'm okay that they didn't win. Some of them I thought they were very worthy of winning.
Right.
And I did like the costume design. I did like the practical set. I liked some aspects of that creatively.
Yeah. Cool. So I have a positive.
Okay.
And it's a positive with a little bit of an asterisk because
They took steroids.
the next statement that I'm going to say is only true in a world where this film did my approximation of the Munchkins correctly.
Oh, okay.
Right. So assuming that they hadn't reimagined the Munchkins, one of the first things, like 5 or 10 minutes into this film, because the film starts and you sort of like it starts, the whole film's sort of a flashback or it's Glinda telling the story of Wicked.
Because someone's basically like, wait, didn't you know her?
To the Munchkins.
Yeah.
Immediately following, like right at the end of the story of the Wizard of Oz, right?
Yeah.
The Wicked Witch has been killed. Glinda's there to tell all the Munchkins about it. And it, right? Am I getting that right?
No, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we do get to see, we've got the flying monkeys. I mean, we see them. We see the creation of the flying monkeys later in this, but we see the flying monkeys.
We were watching Planet of the Apes.
We see the Emerald City. We see, like, right at the beginning, and we see Dorothy and the Scarecrow and the Lion and the Tin Man and Toto from behind.
Yep. Walking along.
Kind of, we get like just glimpses of the moments of Wizard of Oz, but from behind and way zoomed out and, and whatever. And so 5 minutes into this, I was like, oh God, I want to, if you were going to continue this, right? So like, yes, obviously Wicked Part 2 is coming out.
Yep.
But if you wanted to do like a spin-off or a continuation of within this universe, it's time to remake, or it's time to once again do The Wizard of Oz. I was like, I would be so down for this world's version of Wizard of Oz.
The non-asbestos version.
Do you know what I mean? And I feel like that would, like, there'd be something really fun about that to me, of like, okay, here's this big marathon 2-piece story of the backstory.
Yep.
And then after that, if they were to come out and announce, now let us show you the story
OG.
the story that you know
Yep.
that all of this led to.
Yeah.
To me, that would be fun. That'd be fun.
I mean, it would be.
To see this universe's Scarecrow and this universe's Tin Man, and then to see, Jeff Goldblum's wizard interacting with Dorothy and all of this. To me, I'd have a blast.
I think that'd be fun.
Yeah. But only if they do the Munchkins right, because then I'd.
Speaking of things not done right, some of those animals were a bit hokey. The speaking animals.
Like the goat, the goat professor.
That was one of them, but there were several of these speaking animals that there was something a little uncanny about them, and I don't know what I would have done differently.
I mean, anytime you get into CGI animals with their mouths, with their mouths moving to form the words in English, there's going to be a disconnect.
Yeah, that's fair.
Every time.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why, I think a lot of audiences still resonate with things like Homeward Bound, where they were real animals.
They don't try to do that.
And there is no, even Dr. Dolittle. Dr. Dolittle had the animals, the Eddie Murphy one.
Okay, not the Robert Downey.
Oh,
Jr.
no. No, we don't talk about that.
That was so bad.
Even their mouths, like the dog, whoever I can't remember the name of the dog, but the Norm Macdonald voiced. His mouth, they had his mouth move a little bit, just sort of in a open and closed kind of motion.
Yep.
But with stuff like Homeward Bound, there was no movement of the mouth, right?
No.
They were just almost telepathically communicating with each other or something, but we just accepted it, right? It was it's fine. Yeah. Now, I don't think that would work for Wicked, right? I don't think you could have these detailed conversations with a goat standing at the front of the classroom, and every time it cuts to the goat and the goat's delivering a line, the goat's just standing there. Not doing anything. Right? Like, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
100%. It's funny. I don't remember it. It's been a couple of weeks since I've seen Wicked. I don't remember it sticking, the animal sticking out to me as jarring.
Yeah.
I do remember really liking the character of the goat.
Yes, for sure.
And so it's possible that me liking the character covered up a lot of sin.
Sure.
Right? Where I was able to or willing to overlook some jankiness just because I was happy to see him on the screen whenever he was there. Ironically voiced by Peter Dinklage.
Drawing a blank. Who's that?
Peter Dinklage?
Yeah.
Like the most famous little person actor.
Oh.
He's like Game of Thrones.
Sure.
And, X, Y, Z.
Yep.
He's the one that screwed up
Yeah.
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Right.
For everyone. Right? Because he's like,
I don't know if he alone
this
screwed.
is-
I don't know
well-
if he alone screwed up that movie. I think there was multiple hands involved screwing up that movie.
But he caused
But yeah,
some
he caused
heated
some heated, yeah.
things, right?
Yeah.
For those that don't know, Peter Dinklage, when they announced that they were doing Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, in an interview, he was like, "This is, blah blah blah, and little people should not be portrayed as dwarves, and this is, it's so insensitive and blah blah blah." Even though he's played that type of character many times before, like mythical dwarves.
Right.
But yeah, so he did all that, and then not long after, Disney came out and they're like, "Hey, to avoid insensitivities and XYZ,
Right.
we're exploring options for taking different approaches with the dwarves, blah blah blah." And then all the while that's happening, the large community of little people actors were like, "Well, hang on, what the hell? He doesn't speak for all of us, and we would love to be in your film, jackass." So, anyways,
I thought I didn't really know how to wrap my head around this because we've got Ariana Grande's character.
yeah, kind of a bitch.
For sure. I was surprised by that. I didn't realize that was going
It's
to
a
happen.
flipping of the script.
For sure.
Right? The good Glinda that we're all like, ooh, she's wonderful and kind and soft-spoken, and she's...
But again, it's one of those deeper themes that there's a lot of deep themes in this too, but it's also just about perceptions and how things can be spun.
Yep.
And how history can sometimes be rewritten or different things like that. But I thought it was just, I didn't really know what to make of her character arc, because we see her at the beginning, which is the furthest we see her along. Then we go back in time when we see her journey. And she seemed to have a bit of a glass ceiling on her journey the entire time, because no matter how much she comes along, she has this beautiful choreographed silent dance scene with her friend where they're doing the hand gestures, and you see the ice starting to break there, and there's just gesture by gesture she slowly starts to break through and be a bit more benevolent. But to me, it always had a bit of a glass ceiling, because in the end, I know what happens at the end of at the end of the timeline, which was the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Where she's still throwing the witch under the bus. She's still so self-absorbed. Like, she shows up and she's like, I forget to what line she says, but she essentially says like, "Yes, aren't you glad I'm here?" And everyone's happy that, like, she's so self-absorbed, so that it almost made it a little bit more sad when she had these breakthrough moments with her friend, knowing, well, I know where this goes. Now, unless something dramatic happens in the second movie that really flips the script on us, I'm not familiar with the Wicked story.
No.
Maybe there's going to be something there, but there was some limitation to how far of a character arc she could go.
I mean, there's always an inherent problem with prequels in that you know where it's going to go.
Sure.
However, I think that this is different.
Yeah.
Because it's a flipping of the script. Because, without the flipping of a script, you'd go, oh, well, we know that Glinda's wonderful and she's beautiful and she's kind and she's like the savior of the Munchkins and she, you know, XYZ, even though she actually does dick all in The Wizard of Oz, right? She shows up, like, really, I love the flipping of the script in this.
Sure.
Because it does rewrite the character of Glinda in a way that there's many books and I haven't read any of them. So I don't know if this is a rewriting of the character.
Sure.
Or if this is something that's delved into down the road. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it does paint her in a completely different light.
Right.
And when this film ends, at least me, I still didn't, like, she has these, like, okay, I'm not directly mean to Elphaba anymore.
Right.
But I still didn't like her at the end of this.
Yep.
It was like imposter syndrome meets, like, yeah, I don't know, right? But it does make me then go back and look at the original Wizard of Oz and go, yeah, she works a little bit of magic with, like, you know, the fact that she floats around in a bubble. She recommends that Dorothy goes and sees the wizard.
Right.
Who she must have known was a hack. Because that's the thing, right? The whole story, and no version of the Wizard of Oz has ever tried to hide this. The wizard's a hack.
Yep.
He's a guy from Kansas, coincidentally the same place that Dorothy's from.
Yeah.
Who by some means of whatever, like was in it, and I don't know if he got caught in a tornado or, you know, whatever happened. But I mean, the whole story of Wizard of Oz is a little strange too, right? Because the Wizard of Oz ends and it's like, well,
was she dreaming?
Was she actually there?
Yeah.
Was it a dream?
Did she get hit too hard with a 2x4 on her head?
Like what happened?
Yeah.
But it does paint Glinda in a completely different light, even in the original story. If you take this as you know, Wizard of Oz canon, because you're like, yeah, she really doesn't. She doesn't do anything. She doesn't help defeat the witch.
No.
Her whole thing is showing up and I'm so wonderful, you're all glad I'm here.
And she pushes them in the right direction, sort of.
Yes. And then she shows up at the end and takes a bunch of credit for it.
Right.
You know, but she's basically what Gandalf would have been if he showed up, was there for the unexpected party, sends Bilbo on the adventure, but doesn't actually attend himself.
Right.
Is kind of, but then shows up, is also there at the end in the Shire when Bilbo gets back and is like,
where were you?
Announces to all the other hobbits, like, we were successful.
Right.
Yeah, but so I like it.
Okay.
Because it caught me off guard, and the entire film, I think it works towards counteracting that prequel conundrum, where, you know, if Glinda in this was the Glinda that we have always known, then I think you'd spend a lot of time going, I don't really care about her character arc because we already know her. We already know this character.
Yeah.
We know, you know, sure, they'll give us a little bit of backstory, maybe why she's so wonderful, maybe some of the hardships she went through, but ultimately she's just this wonderful person.
Beautiful thing.
The flipping of the script kept me guessing the whole time.
Yep.
Because every time she's on screen, I'm like, how does this person get to be the Glinda we know? Or is this the Glinda we know and we just don't know Glinda as much as we thought we did? Because again, even in Wizard of Oz, she's only there in the beginning and she's there in the end.
2 minutes of screen time.
2 minutes of screen time.
Very little.
Right? Yeah. And maybe she's just a poser. Maybe she's no, but literally,
Yeah.
maybe she just like has got great PR with the Munchkins, but is actually kind of horrible.
A toad or a bit of a toad just doesn't do much.
You know, and isn't, like we sort of explore in this film, isn't really that powerful of a witch either.
Yeah.
Right? Like can do some fun bubble magic, but that's like she's not near as powerful as Elphaba.
No.
Right?
No.
So, yeah. But I do like that. I like the flipping of the script.
Sure. Anything else you need to add?
I mean, we should talk about the musical numbers in this are, I don't know why, like I knew it was a musical. And I don't know why it didn't occur to me why there was a disconnect that the singing in it would probably be incredible. But there are some musical numbers in this, especially like from Elphaba. Like that one at the end where she's like going ape shit and flipping out of the top of the tower, and like sort of that closing number, where I'm just like, holy heavens, like you can like you guys weren't messing, you didn't find someone who like could act and, you know, we'll get you some singing lessons so that you can do this. Is like there is some incredible singing in this film.
Yeah. I found the musical numbers were an example of what I talked about in my initial impression, where like if you pause during a musical number and you take a freeze frame of just the vocal talent, checks out, it's good.
Yeah.
The choreography checks out, it's good. Visuals, how it makes sense to the story, all these things all made sense and were good. Just didn't have it.
Right.
And so a lot of times in this movie, I took my wife and I 3 nights to watch this movie just because it's long.
Oh, geez. Okay.
And night 2 and night 3.
Showing your age again. We got up and made popcorn at one point, but other than that, we were youthful people and just sat and watched it.
Listen, we go to bed early, and like when you started at 10 p.m.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
You don't have much real estate to play with.
Yeah. Aren't you normally in bed by 10?
Wow. But they're like night 2 and night 3 were a struggle. Like I was like, hey, let's go, let's finish it. And my wife was like, do we have to?
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, we do.
Or you're like, at least I do.
I do.
What
I'm saying,
do you remember our vows, sweetheart?
So what I'm saying is, with all these musical numbers, there wasn't anything I can point my finger that were bad, but a lot of them, like I don't remember any of them. Now, the one exception, the finale. I completely agree. That one, like you're gripping the couch going, holy Hannah.
Not only can she sing, but just the energy, what's happening.
But like, and the part where it becomes a duet, like it's just so in unison. That final scene and the intensity, both of just the singing and the acting and the visuals and the stakes and everything.
Yeah.
That was a unique thing to the whole movie. Because the whole movie, I was like on cruise control. But that last one just really like it dialed in. If any of those other numbers had matched in that intensity, we'd probably be having a different conversation.
Right.
So I'm saying this as a backhanded compliment to that final segment was lights out.
Sure.
Was next level.
The other musical number that I really enjoyed, and it's not, by no means do I remember it being a showcasing of pipes. Of incredible singing talent, but a musical number that had me just like smile on my face the whole time, like this is just fun, like I just enjoy what's happening right now, is when they're in their like dorm room, both laying in their like separate beds, like shit talking each other through song. To me, that was really fun. Like that was a fun. I'm like, this is like
spicy,
and it's just unique, right?
Yeah.
And like the thing about it is, you know, you have something like La La Land, which I know you're a big fan of.
10 out of 10 in my books.
So you have La La Land. You have, I'm trying to think of another example of a film, a musical film that is first and foremost a film that is not an adaptation of a Broadway.
Spirited?
Yeah, Spirited. Well, no, but Spirited would be an exception to the point I'm about to make.
Sure.
What's another musical from the last?
Well, it's a remake, but the Lady Gaga, Bradley Cooper.
Sure, A Star Is Born.
Yeah.
I mean, A Star Is Born is a little bit different because it's that falls in the category of musical where there's a in-story logical reason why they're singing.
It's very grounded in that way.
You know, it's like Walk the Line.
Yeah.
Whereas, I'm more like, okay, now we're singing in the coffee shop
Yeah.
in something that should just be a conversation.
Yeah.
God, why can't I think of any musicals?
Well, go on your point. We can jump back to more examples.
So, well, I just didn't want to completely single out La La Land as being inferior, but
no, that's fine.
you can tell, like, as great as the music is in La La Land, it feels like musical numbers.
Sure.
There is something really unique and special when you're watching a film and you go, this is Broadway level songwriting. Like, this, not just like, ooh, lyrically this is fun, but like the structure of a song.
Sure. So like Hamilton would be
Hamilton's sort of like
example,
that, right?
yeah.
Where like you've got some backup singing happening.
Right.
You do have this duet, like word craft that's happening where I'm singing over you and you're singing over me and we're singing different things, but at the end of every line of singing, we do sing the same word. Like our each of our singing ends on the same words. So we are in unison sometimes, but then we go back to singing different things. And then we're singing the same line, but because of what we're each singing, that one line has a completely different meaning. Right.
Yeah.
So just that kind of like Broadway songcraft that, you know, you can make a film like La La Land. And yes, your music has to be good, but the bar is a little bit lower for songcraft than it is on Broadway because a film is, you know, a film is a film, and you can have a good movie where the music was serviceable.
Sure.
It was good. It wasn't amazing.
Yep.
And the film's going to make some money because you have Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone and whoever else in it, right?
Sure.
If you have a musical on Broadway and your music isn't a cut above, your
Right.
show's going to get crucified and canceled very quickly.
But now, how many of these songs are actual direct cutovers from the Broadway music?
My understanding is a lot of them.
Okay.
If not
That's
all of
interesting.
them.
A good chunk.
Yes.
Okay.
That this is, obviously, I think the expansion that happens in this film
course.
is some of the dialogue.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? Is some of the things that you couldn't pull off on a Broadway stage, right? Like all the like the seeing Dorothy, you know, hiking down the yellow brick road. And,
Probably also
and
a
all this
lot
stuff.
of the fleshing out of like the Hogwarts light.
Probably.
The poor man's Hogwarts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of that's probably beefed up a little bit for the film.
Sure.
So I really love the song structure in this. The reason why I say Spirited is an exception is because that film was like one of the big takeaways of Spirited was, even though this is just like it only exists as a film, it's their approach to music in that was, let's shoot this and write this as if it is a Broadway musical, right? In that you had the choreographed dancing, you had the, you know, like, yes, we're out on a street and we're singing out on the street, but there's like scaffolding with lights and cables. Like, we've made it look like it's a Broadway stage for this musical number. So that's why that would be an exception to me. But yeah, I think that's what I love. I'm a big musical theater nut. I like musical films that are also just, you know, I don't dislike La La Land.
Right.
You
dislike Grease.
I did dislike Grease. Yeah. We both were like, this is what?
This is not as good as I remember.
Yeah. But I get like a really good theatrical, like by theatrical, I mean like stage musical number. I get my spine tingles.
I think
get
maybe our
goosebumps.
next bracket should be maybe musicals.
Musicals adapted from stage, like things like Rent and things like
That's tough because that's not wrong, but that would limit the numbers. Like just general musicals.
Sound of Music, Sweeney Todd.
Yeah.
We've already done Sweeney Todd, but I think there's a lot more out there than you realize.
Yeah.
Right. We've done a bunch of them. We did, and sometimes it's done wrong too. Right.
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing. And I'm sure we talked about this. I can't remember. Maybe we didn't acknowledge it at the time because we thought it was just total crap. The music is not. It is no part of what was wrong with the film Cats.
The music isn't bad.
How well do you even remember it?
There was that one song called like the Cynical Cat or
Right.
like something.
But it is. There's a reason why Cats
I didn't throw
lived
it
on Broadway as long as it did.
I guess, but that's an anomaly on itself. We don't know how the dinosaurs died, and we don't know why it stayed on Broadway for so long. Like, there's just some things we don't know.
Well, yeah, there's the asteroid crater that's 200 kilometers wide just north of Mexico.
So we know how the dinosaurs died. We still don't know anything about cats staying on Broadway.
But yeah, so I think we could, right? Because you've got Rent. Did we do Rent?
No.
So you've got Rent, Into the Woods.
We didn't do Into the Woods.
Sound of Music.
We haven't done that.
Started as a
yeah.
And so we just have to find one more, and there's your Broadway, or yeah. But anyways,
No, I'm talking like a bracket, like we did for the Disney movies.
I think you meant our next vote. It's probably
32,
time we do another musical vote.
Pick 32 musicals, and we churn it out to the winner.
I haven't. I don't even.
I think you'd
I
be
definitely
surprised.
haven't seen 32 musicals.
I think you'd be
let alone-
surprised.
Maybe.
you'd be
I mean, what
surprised.
gets tricky is we have to determine like what is a
Right.
musical,
Right.
right? Because then you're like, well, Lion King's a musical.
Sure.
So yeah, there's a lot of things
It
that
gets some stickiness.
right. There's movies that have a lot of music in them.
Mm-hmm.
Brianne and I had this discussion the other day. We were trying to determine, is Shrek 2 a musical? And I'm like, well, the Fairy Godmother has 2 musical numbers that she
yeah.
sings.
That seems a bit of a stretch.
And twice in the tavern, the hook man sitting at the piano has 2 musical numbers that he sings.
Yeah.
At the end of the film, they do the like reception, the Live in the Vida Loca thing, right? So I'm like, that's 5 musical numbers in 90 minutes.
I still think it's a stretch.
Right?
I think Shrek 2 is a stretch.
Yeah. So, but that's all I'm saying is we'd
yeah.
have to
Draw some lines. in the
figure out,
sand.
okay, what is actually a musical and what isn't.
Right.
So, because I would say something like, I would say Walk the Line is not a musical.
Probably not.
I think it's a music biopic.
Same with the
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
Probably the Michael Jackson film that's coming out this year.
I haven't seen enough to know if it'd be a musical. I doubt it is.
Even what was the newest one? The Timothy Chalamet Bob Dylan film. What's that one?
Complete
A Complete Unknown.
Not a
I
musical.
didn't see it, but I'm probably not a musical.
Like that's
lots
a biopic.
Lots of music in it.
A biopic about a musician.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would even say I don't think A Star Is Born is a musical.
Yeah, probably not.
Right?
Yeah.
To me, a musical, if we were going to do it, it'd be a bracket where people are singing in moments that in real life we would all look at and go, what the hell are you doing?
Someone's jumping on a coffee stand singing.
Yeah, for sure.
You ready to rank this puppy?
I think so. I just want to voice my admiration for the color palette.
Yeah.
Like I didn't go see this in the theater. Having watched it now, I will definitely see the next one in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, with the color palette and the visual spectacle that this film is, and the fact that it's with being a musical, it's one where like you want good audio, right? Because audio's. I could see going and seeing the second one for this. This is the type of film where I would go. This film will benefit from an IMAX experience. It's probably not necessary to be an IMAX experience.
I don't care near as much about these movies as you do, but you're not wrong.
Right?
This would be the type of movie.
There is something that because there's lots of films where you're like, you could see it in IMAX, but I don't know you're going to get anything extra out of it.
Yeah.
This one, I think, would be enhanced by IMAX. Yeah. Let's rank this. So on a scale of 0 to 10. how would you rank? I'm so nervous. How would you rank? I don't know why, because I'm not like the defender of this film. I think I've made that. I think this has been probably a much more balanced conversation than you were expecting.
Yeah, I would think so.
But for some reason, I'm nervous. On a scale of 0 to 10, how would you rank Wicked Part 1?
I gave it a 5 out of 10.
Wow.
It's right down the middle.
Wow.
So it's not good.
You know you're in the minority.
Well, potentially.
Yeah.
I'd have to look at the tomato score. I don't have it with me. But it's not bad. You know, my definition of a 5 is pretty standard. So like it had an equal amount of things that I liked, equal amount of things that I didn't like. And at the end of the day, it was just missing that it factor. Maybe if it had been shorter or a little bit more oomph to it. But I can see why it took me so long to see it. I don't necessarily say I regret watching it, but I don't see myself rewatching it anytime in the near future. Probably will see the second movie just because I am intrigued and visually, like I think it would be a fun movie to see in the theaters.
Yeah, we should probably review it.
Yeah, I think we should. But yeah, 5 out of 10. What do you give it out of 10?
Yeah, wow, 5 out of 10. Mm-hmm. I would give it. I'd have to give it a 9.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd have to give it a 9 out of 10.
That's a pretty high score.
It was long, but I thought the pacing, like at least for us, we, you know, it felt long to us in the same way that Lord of the Rings is long. Yeah, it's long, but you're on a journey with it. And so it never felt to us like it was dragging or needed to get picked up a little bit. Visually was stunning. We liked the music in it. I don't think there was a music number where we were like, this is a little, can't wait for this song to be done. There were obviously songs that stuck out more to us than others, but every time there was singing, it was like, this is, and they also didn't overdo, like for being a 2 hour and 40-minute song. Yeah, there's lots of music in it, but it's not, oh God, another song, right? Like there's enough in it that is just like, okay, now some like actual dialogue and storytelling and whatever. And so, yeah, it definitely a 9 out of 10. I enjoyed it much more than I thought I did. And if someone in the next week said, hey, I haven't seen Wicked yet. Do you want to watch Wicked? I would be happy to.
Do you have 3 evenings to spare?
Happy to give it another. Well, no, that's just, that's just the 65 and up crowd. That face cream you've got is
it's
working
doing
wonders.
Its trick.
Working wonders. Yeah. It's been a long time since I've asked you this, but what have you been watching?
I'm not trying to cop out. I can't do this segment. My app keeps an itemized list of what I've seen and what I've scored. I can't access it.
You can't access your app.
Yeah.
There's no internet right now.
Yeah, we are struggling.
Yeah.
We are struggling. It's like 1994. We have to talk to each other. Can't look up anything on the internet.
We've been there's been no internet here for about a week. And this afternoon a game of Monopoly happened. So
which is kind of fun.
I mean, it is the idea of, hey, we're going to let's play Monopoly. We haven't played but 3 hours in.
Yeah.
And also 2-person Monopoly is like,
yeah.
It just feels like a lot of back and forth. And then there's a very clear moment where you're like we didn't finish it.
Right.
Right. We're just kind of like, well, it's clear,
you're going to win.
It's clear that you're going to win because your shit's so loaded up with houses and all this other stuff that, and mine isn't. So even though I have way more property than you do, the odds of you landing on my stuff is way higher, but packs way less of a punch, and you have so much money, and the stuff that you do have is so built up that literally the next time I land on one of your things,
you're cooked.
I'm cooked. I could not even mortgaging all but one of my properties would get me
Close.
back to being able to pay rent for some of this. In which case, then I'm just trading you some of my property. Like we're just making a deal.
Yeah.
And then that's just pushing me further down. Now I have less opportunity to make money. And yeah, so after like 3.5 hours today, I was like, you know, just like you won. You want to call this?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of what happened.
Cool.
But, okay, wrap it up.
Yeah. Well, thank you for listening. Check out our socials below. Like, follow, subscribe wherever you can. Give us a good rate and review. We love hearing back from you. Check out our Patreon page, merchandise page. Help support the show. Help
We
us
have
grow.
stickers.
We've got stickers. We've
Great
got
sticker. Like
very cool stickers. Yeah.
Not just like, hey, what a cool design, but like there's one sitting
Of
on the
us.
desk over there.
Yeah.
And it like, yeah, they're good, like
They are cool stickers.
good stickers.
Check them out.
Good quality.
Check out our Patreon page. We've got new content up there all on the reg. We have a new revamped.
Don't say that.
It's a new revamped Patreon
Don't say
page.
on the reg, because all it takes is like a slight mispronunciation or like,
Oh, on the regular.
yeah,
We regularly upload content
Yeah.
on there. Let me say that.
on the norm.
Check out all our tiers. There's audio content, video content, written word content, tours of the studio, a lot of stuff. We've revamped it to make it more enticing for you to join and be part of our crew.
To give us all your money.
We've got a Discord now.
All your hugs and kisses too.
Our Discord page, you can join. And I think our most recent article was why Moana is better than Frozen. Shots
at
fired.
the time of recording.
At the time of recording.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There'll be another one up shortly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And until next time.
Don't be racist to green people.
Yeah.
Or like
Or
don't,
anyone,
just
really.
in general, don't
Don't
be
be
racist. But like
Specifically to green people.
no, not even specifically. Just like also I'm saying don't be racist to green people because when you're thinking about the people who you should not be racist to, green probably doesn't pop into your head. You could use, because this is the second film that we've reviewed on this channel where people are racist to green people. The Grinch. That taxi wouldn't pick him up, and he's like, it's because I'm green, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it was. Because even in Whoville, Oz, all these mythical lands, nowhere is free from prejudice.